see if this is. Yeah, testing. 1, 2, testing. Sound going through. Is it going through? Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, testing the microphone. Going into. Yeah. Laggy. We have like a 5 or 6 seconds lag, I think.
We can put it all the way to max.
So we're good to start? Pretty much. Do you have to press the red button? Like to start? No, it's already. It's running. Great. So thank you guys for coming. Wow, such a great crowd I have here, but my fans are here, my supporters, everybody. Woohoo, clapping hands. Look how many. No, I'm just joking. I was clapping just so I can appear like it's a giant crowd, you know, like, yeah, whoa, like in an arena. Anyway, so why am I here today? Is because I want to reflect some of my personal experiences to you, you know, like a mirror, going back and forth. And as we, you know, grow, as we develop, as we are getting brighter and brighter, shinier and shinier, we realize that we have to, or we need to bounce that light back, you know, like a global illumination. We need to, with the people around us, right? And as artists and as people who, because even programmers are artists, right? In a way that they need to conceptualize things and express them in a way more or less visual, because that's how it is, right? So what I want, why is really, really important that your ideas, that you put your own ideas actually in your own projects and not just some abstract, you know, things that you pick out on the way, on, you know, on the road, because that's who you are. You know, you are the sum of the elements. That is what it makes you. And expressing these things is utterly important for the people around you, that they may know who you are, and also you impacting the world as it is, because it's not an easy task to do that. You know, it's not an easy task to communicate your thoughts and your ideas, your concepts, etc. into the world. But it's quite difficult. And it's, I mean, when we do things, we think of, oh, let's see how we can do them. Let's see the technical part of the things, right? How we bake the lights, how we, you know, get some, I don't know, fog or whatever it is, how we use some libraries to achieve what we need. But that's just the beginning. That's just the tools of the sculptor, right? That's the chisel and the hammer, right? The big artists, all of them, they use this to express their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, to communicate all these things, right? And as the world is getting darker and darker, as you see all, you know, all these things like hate, you know, crimes, violence, all that stuff, this is bounced back because we had decades of Sylvester Stallone movies of violence. You know what I mean? We had that. We had, you know, and the people, the children, everybody, it's absorbing that. You know, this is what it is. I mean, we see violence in a way that it's kind of like a concept, you know, it's not necessarily something bad, you know, we just put it in the video game or in the film category, right? But there are some people who take it literally, right? There are some people who go to the next level. Anyway, I don't want to get too much in detail, but what I want to say that your road is just beginning. I'm pretty much in the same spot as you are, you know, but just one step higher, or maybe I don't even know if it's higher. So I want to encourage you not just to look for the technical side of things, not just to, you know, experiment with the tools that you have, but also how you can fingerprint, how you can put your fingerprint in the world out there. And that's the real value that you will have. That's the real value. So I'm going to start with the 3 E's, I call them. But in essence, it's just establishing a roadmap for you. So when I say establish a roadmap, I mean not just visualize you in 10 years, right? But also taking all the kind of in between, not like all the in between steps that we need to think and consider. So the first one I would say is experiment. So when you will graduate, you will have some tools in your tool belt. You will be called more or less a generalist. Some of you, you know, programmers, that would be as well, you will be a generalist, because there are specialties, right, in there as well. So you'll be more or less a generalist. Now, the next step for you, I see, from a logical perspective, is to narrow down, right? So the next step is to narrow down, because you're a generalist. That can be done in a multiple of ways, either via master degree, either doing your own, you know, studies. I'm doing that all the time. I'm always specializing in something. When I graduated, I know everything, but I didn't know anything, basically. You know what I mean? I was just like average Joe at everything. I was average at animation. I was average at pretty much everything. And then I realized, I have a lot ahead of me. So I need to start investing the time ASAP. So don't take it lightly. This is no easy university that you picked. You could have made lots of money just by going to I don't know, finance or something else, become a lawyer, right? That would have given you kind of like best bang per buck as time, you know what I mean? But this one is a long run, is a marathon. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So investigate, because you already kind of investigate all the fields, but now it's time to narrow down. And whether is, you know, environment, where is like any other specialty, you need to pinpoint it as soon as possible. Now the second one is experience, and you can get experience in a number of ways, not just in an internship position, as I wrote there. You know, if you look at the great artists, the one in the Renaissance, for example, most of them were apprentice to somebody else. They did not just get up high just by themselves. You understand what I'm saying? They did not use the people literally, but they got fed, right? And this was by exposing themselves to these people. So going in these circles. So it's like you're trying to feed something in you. And what you feed, that's what you become. And I'll get back to this down the road later. So find a reference artist or somebody who you think it has potential, somebody who you think is successful, right? It doesn't have to be an artist, can be anything. Scripter, programmer, director of photography. It can be anyone, right? We're talking about very, very broad here. And then don't be afraid to get in contact with that person. Some people, they just love to, you know, share their experiences or help other people out, other fellow artists. And some people already do that just by having their own YouTube channels. But some of them, they don't like that type of, you know, advertisement or exposure. So they don't do it, but they are happy to help you individually. They are happy to give you feedback. They are happy to direct you in a way. So that's what I would do. I would just find somebody who I think it represents my style and my work. For example, if I would have been like, if I would have kept with my hard surface, because I started as a hard surface artist, I would have said that my goal is to go to Star Citizen to work in Cloud Imperium Games. Some of my colleagues from university ended up there. And I did not take that step because there was something else that I felt right to do. So sometimes you're not just driven by the pure me or the pure want or the pure yourself, right? So sometimes you have to be driven by compassion as well. Sometimes you have to be driven by others, right? So when you do these things, consider also, right? So otherwise I would have been, I would not be in teaching. I would have been an artist who just does his own tricks, yeah, becomes, I don't know, director of some sort, right? And become very famous. But if I was for fame, I would have been there. I'm not for fame. Look at my audience. I have 10 people in the, but don't laugh. This is very good. Okay, so I think we're done with this slide. I think you've read the slide as well. Maybe I have not read the slides per se, but the third one is called establish. So establishing a portfolio, what that means. What is a portfolio? Yes. Yeah. And you're proud of, basically. Your best work. Can be one work. Can be one work. Can be only one that you're proud of. And usually better if you have one work that you're proud of than have 10. So I don't encourage you to have quantity in your I would just say spend the time, and we'll talk about this, iteration and reiterating your artwork. But the most important thing is that to aim for that particularity, for that tip, the tip of the iceberg, the thing that you think you will be good at, the thing that you are passionate about, right? Still am passionate about hard surface. I can do hard surface for hours without stopping. So that's my kind of passion in this field. You will find something else. Probably, I don't know. Maybe it can be the same. But what it is important to pinpoint that and to use passion as a drive, to drive you forward. And so you can get best results for that. Okay. Let's look at the roadmap. As I said in the first one, I said, pick a roadmap and be daring about it. You know, be daring about it. You can say, I want to start as a character artist. And then I want to, I start as a concept artist because that's how I made the arrow, right? I made the arrow, the green arrow on the left, you can see it. It says concept artist and it goes to character artist. Because they work hand in hand, right? Once a concept artist is a person who draws or sculpts or do something very good, represent his ideas and thoughts in a way that that people around can understand and read, even words, right? So you become a character artist, and this is a way to go from, again, we're going from pinpoint to broad. So it's kind of like hourglass. Imagine an hourglass. Right now you're at the bottom of the hourglass, right? You're at the bottom of the hourglass because you're general, you're wide. Then you pinpoint and you become good at something, right? You are a character artist. You're very good at that. You have 20 characters on your portfolio. You can find a job anywhere. Then again, it's broadening. So it's like an hourglass. Imagine an hourglass or two how do you call it? Those pyramids, inversed or mirrored pyramid. Okay, so what do we do? As a concept artist, I specialize in character artist, then I generalize and become an art director. That's my roadmap. That's the thing that I aim, yeah, on my long term. On the short term, I specialize. On the medium term, I generalize. On the long term, I excel. Okay, that's the fourth E, but I did not put it. So as the same with as a, for example, engineer, as a programmer, right? You are a general right now because probably you most of the things you can program or script a lot of things. And then you say, hey, I want to be an AI. I want to specialize on AI, right? So I specialize on AI. I am general. I have a general background, but now I have a specialization. Then I'm planning to be a tool engineer, or I'm planning to become a technical director in a company, right? And this is how you have one step, the next step, and the third step. You have everything planned out. The thing that you need is the passion to drive you forward, right? Sometimes there would be people in your life that would help you with that. There would be people who would cheer you up, encourage you to do things that sometimes you'll be beaten down because you feel like there's no way out. This artwork sucks. My program is full of bugs. I cannot do anything with it. It's crappy. All right. So I'm going to make a game about bugs in the end, right? That was just an example. Just don't give up. That's what I meant, essentially. All right. So I put these things. I'm going to share this. So each one of these is quite like, let's say, art director, right? So we click on the art director. And what is the function of the art director? But this is not where we are here. Yeah. If you are interested in a particular role, creative director, you know, do that research in your own time. Know what you have to do. Know your responsibilities. Okay. You don't know what the future will hold for you, but you need to be ready and brace yourself. As a friend of mine said, brace yourself for the worst. That means I will be good. I will be powerful. I would be excelling at whatever it is. Okay, so brace yourself for the worst. So why do I say that? Is like when I started learning my tools, right? My art tools, for example, animation tools or 3D tools. So I did a research and I looked online. I saw two different tools: 3ds Max back then, and Maya. Somebody said, man, Maya has a big learning curve. It's difficult to learn. And when I heard that, I say, that's for me. You know why? Because if I learn that way, the hard way, then it's going to be easy learning 3ds Max or whatever it's going to be. You know what I mean? So sometimes taking the hard way, it pays off on the long run. So I encourage you to do that. So dream big, set goals, and take action, right? We dream, not necessarily dream, we plan, we set the goals, and then we have to act. We cannot sit it idle just by, just looking at things. Say, yeah, I'm gonna play some League of Legends for the rest of my life, 2 hours a day, and I'm gonna be a great artist. That's not how it is. Anything in life comes with hard sacrifice, right? You have to sacrifice. I think the best person for me who inspired me was Jesus, because he sacrificed everything, his own life. That's the best sacrifice. He said, I give my life for my friends, right? So if I think about it, I cannot do that, but I can sacrifice some of my time, getting better at things. I can sacrifice some of my own time to sit with my daughter, have some fun with her, so she could be, it's okay. So everything comes with sacrifice. But high expectations, as you might know, as you might have experienced already, produces disappointment. Let's move it like that so we can see it, because it's covered by the camera. Produces disappointment. because we come with high expectations. We expect to be art directors. We expect that, level. But then we get a hiccup. We fall. Like in stock market, you crash. Sometimes you just go up, but then you just have to crash down. So what do? Let me tell you a story. And it's relevant. Back in London, just graduated, right? I got my diploma. So what can I do? I applied for some jobs. Nobody even took me. Nobody, not even an answer. So I was kind of sad in my heart. I was just kind of low, crashed, because of the expectations. Because I had high expectations, but then I crashed. So in that day, I had some bad attacks. I had how do you say it? I was also, because I believe in God, and I don't want to, it's not about religion here, but it's just by my experience. I was almost cursing God because, God, I worked hard, 3 years. What the heck? You know what I mean? So, but I did not do that. And I applied for a job at Amazon, right? I applied for the job. They said, yeah, come. And I went to Amazon. I say, man, this is not the life I imagined for myself. I do not want to work in the Amazon factory. That looks like a factory, by the way. It's not Amazon working on the games. Don't imagine that. It was just working, with sending up the packages. So I was quite hurt in my heart. Yeah, I was quite hurt because I had a crash. As I said, expectation, and then you crash. But I did not give up. I say, what's gonna be is gonna be. I take it as it is. I take it like a man. I take the hit like a man. Like a friend of mine used to say, just take the hit as a man. Don't cower out of it. So I say, okay, I'm gonna continue on this road until something else happens. I'll see. I will strive. I will keep on going. I'm not gonna be beaten by life or by circumstances. So what happened? I went one day to work, and the second day the university called me from Middlesex. They say, hey, you want to work here? You understand? And then when I started working there as a graduate assistant, and then I started teaching there because I did not give up, right? Then I had other opportunities. I could have gone somewhere else. I could have gone, as I said, Cloud Imperium Games or something else. But I felt like I like doing this. I felt like, yeah, the students, they like me. Some of them, they like me, Some of them, they hate me, but that's how life it is. But I was useful. I felt useful, So in the end, I think that mattered most. That mattered more to me than just being successful at Cloud Imperium, just becoming an art director, right? So, aim big. That's what we want. We pick the field, we aim big, and we make strides in that direction, right? Whatever it is. If it's AAA work, let it be so. AAA work, right? If you have to do AAA work, we take time and we do it. Yeah, we're not satisfied with 1A or 2As. Cool. So you're a game artist or you're a programmer, and you do your work and you say it's done. But then somebody says, no, it's not done. Actually, you should say it's not done. You say it's not done because you can improve it and you have time, provided that you have, right? And it's not done. Then you say, it's done now. I say, no. You do it one more time. And then you say, it's good enough, right? And then you say, wait, what happened? Well, for some reason, it's kind of slight. It's good enough. Somewhere on the right is the camera. We cannot move it, but it says it's good enough. That doesn't mean you have to spend a lot of time on your projects. That doesn't mean you have to spend a hell lot of time on your game art or on your I don't know, prototype. That means that when you prepare for Employment, you take your time. It's painful to watch the same asset 12 hours. It's painful to watch at the same animation clip for 3 days. For 2 seconds of animation, watch it 3 days over and over and over again. It makes you sick sometimes, but do it. Polish it. Yeah, that's what they do. 2 seconds of animation. Sometimes they in the VFX, in the industry, they can spend a week on it just to get it right. That is just 1 or 2 seconds of animation. So you need to have those 2 seconds of animation. You need to have that asset, those assets, that environment, whatever, polished. Okay? So there is no such thing as, oh, we have to do it this way, or oh, this is the way to be done, right? Each artist has its own specific way to approach things. And the rules are to be bended. Yeah, the rules of 3D, the rules of programming, they are to be bended. There is no such thing as rigid rules. So your standard techniques can evolve, can move around, right? So you can make that. You can make the change, and you can make the shift to let that happen. So my first advice to you: when you do something, you document it. Whatever you do, whatever you did good or wrong, you document it. I use Miro board, and I put everything that I learn, I put it on a Miro board, and I know my progress. And if I did something, for example, inventory system, whatever, and if I worked on it, I document it. I put it there. When I come back, I will read the comments and I'll remember, this is what I meant. This is what, because you forget, right? And this is valid to artists and, you know, in every other field. Because we tend to forget. Today we do the project, and 2 weeks, you won't remember how you did with the cage or to the baking or to whatever. So that's, you document everything, every tutorial, every past project. Try to document it and label them nicely. For that reason, I just love Miro board, because it's so easy to use. So as I said, it needs to look like an hourglass. It doesn't look like an hourglass unless you kind of skew it a little bit, but the start is always the same. Now now this is based on knowledge. There are many other factors in there, but this is like a guideline or a principle, right? A lot of things can change the shape of that, you know. Some people call it luck, divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. That can change, but the principle stays the same. You start in the same point, and then you are a generalist right now. And on the long run, that is good, because you get better at all the things. You will use that time wisely. Focused on the medium term gives you best bang per buck, because you get better at one thing, and your skills would be desired. Yeah, people will desire your skills because you're good at specifics. On the long run, that is not good, because you need to generalize for that position that you're aiming for, right? If you become an art director, you need to know everything. You need to know lighting. You need to know perfect lighting. You need to know characters. You need, a bit about everything. So that's why I'm saying generalist is good, but it takes more sweat and tears and effort. Okay? Let's go next slide. Okay. Now, 2/3 don't make a flower, right? So if you have a bunch of shit in the portfolio, that's not gonna add up, because it's the same. It's like I'm trying to multiply something. 1 multiplied by 1 equals 2. It doesn't. So we try to get rid of the things that drag us down. Don't put something in your portfolio that believe that, oh, maybe they would say that I like to animate because I did this little animation, but instead you're a character artist or your environment, right? No, they would say That's bad taste. You have bad taste. You don't know what you're doing. You know, you don't know where you're aiming. You don't know where you are. That's just going to reflect bad on you. Don't put it. Put everything that only represents who you think who you really are, who you really, where you really aiming to be. Cool. So in life, we will have, as I said, we will have ups and downs and crashes. What it is important, like in the stock market, to have upwards trends. So that's what we want. We want to go always higher. When we hit rock bottom, remember, there's nowhere to go then up. There's nowhere else to go, right? While you're on the rock bottom, you can only go up. In your life, there's going to be an accumulation. People call it a flag, where those looks more like a horizontal kind of line. The average, if you look at the average, is going to be horizontal, which means things are quite quiet in your life. But that's just the quiet before the storm, as you might encounter probably by it. And then when you have that, I want to give you this. When you have that period in your life where things become a little bit tranquil, then is the moment for you to act and take attitude. Don't sleep on your ear. Then, I'm sorry, I translated from my language. It's not working very well in English, but it says like, don't, stay calm and laid back in your couch, basically. Then you need to act swiftly, and then you will have the swing up. Otherwise, it's going to be a swing down. So that is a parallel to what's happening in the market. So just so you know, when you have an accumulation, be ready, because it might go up or down. So being humble, this is very important, because that was something that it took me a while to understand what it actually means, what it means to be humble. Somebody said it, and said it so good, but it took me so long to understand it. Somebody says, don't think less of yourself, but think of yourself less. That's going to take some time to wrap your head around that. But trust me, it is how it is. It is just like that. Don't become prideful in your heart when you think you know something. Rather, when you are prideful, you say, I don't know anything, man. What I know is good, but I can be better. You know what I mean? What I know, it's sufficient. It's okay. Yeah? I'm not saying to think less of yourself, as in if you beat yourself down, oh, I'm nobody, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm not talking about that. That doesn't mean to be humble. Yeah, that means to be stupid when you say these things. Don't say those things to yourself. That's not encouragement. Yeah? Say to yourself, I can be someone. I can be a son. I can be a son of God. I can be something really, really important. Somebody who really can take a stand. Somebody who is who's really, really good. So I have this picture, and it's called, this one, it's called, what happened? Okay, they're called runners. Runners. Have you ever heard of a runner? It's basically in a AAA studio. It's people who give you coffee, give the artist coffee, right? And I knew this guy, this person, who was a professor now, but started as a runner. He used to work serving people tea and biscuits and coffee, right? And giving them food. That thing made him humble. That thing made him humble, and that was gold. It is a gold characteristic. It is a gold. It's good to be modest and humble. These days, it's hard to get people who are, and that's why a lot of people don't hire straight away students, because they don't take the feedback. They don't, when you speak bluntly, because they have to speak bluntly because they don't have any time. They don't have time to speak English with you. What it means English, to go around and to be nice and well, Sophie might know a little bit about that. But like, you know what I mean? So they are blunt to you. They say, oh man, this sucks. This is very bad. I don't know what to do with it. So you take it. You take the hit. Say, what can we do to make it better? You know, you don't fall down. You don't, you take the hit, you take the hit like a boxer, and then you come back up, spring back up, wanting for some more. Not wanting for some more to get more hits, but you know what I mean, right? Eager to get into action. So that's what we want to do. We want to understand that it's okay. If you start low, that's no problem. It's no problem. That's not who you are. You understand? That guy, trust me, that guy was really somebody. I don't want to give names. Cool. So how can I zoom out now? I think I exited the presentation, didn't I? Okay, I have 2 more slides. Let's see what we can do of this. Okay, that's a good one. What it means. You start in the middle. Yeah, you start in the middle. You're the guy who thinks. And a good friend of mine said, watch out which beast you feed, because that one is going to take control of you. Watch out what you feed in your life, because that would mark you. So if you are compassionate, if you learn how to be compassionate, because it's hard to be compassionate with people who don't give a shit. It's hard to be compassionate. It's hard to be compassionate when people stab you in the back. You know, I used to have this. I had that a couple of times, and I was very hurt because I tried to do good. I tried to embolden. I tried to give courage, but I don't want to give names. But I was stabbed in the back. So, grunge, you know, should I have grunge? Should I be, is by these standards, yes, I should be. You know, by today's standards, I should have grunge, I should hate him, I should just say, fuck off. But I didn't. You shouldn't do that as well. Because this defines you. If you feed that monster, it's going to become hateful. It's going to become worse and worse and worse. If you go on the other way, you're going to be more loving. You're going to be more caring. And that is something that really matters today. That is something that I say to you, express that in the world. Because the world is quite dark. And if you don't express it, who's going to express it? Netflix? Yeah, Netflix is going to do that for us. And it's the same. Oh, come on, again. And I want to give you a historic, sorry about the low quality image. I could not find a better one, and I did not have too much time. Let me give you an example of feeding the wrong monster. Now, Seleucid Empire, I think it was Seleucid Empire, it was very rich, right? That's a long time ago when the Roman Republic was ruling. So, actually before it started to rule. So, they did a mistake. But what was that mistake? They did not take a stand when Rome, you know, took over Greece or started working on the Greece. So they tried to go in Greece, the Seleucid Empire tried to go in Greece to kind of expand the influence like people do today. Not conquer, expand the influence. Then Romans saw that as a threat, and then they got a beating and they go home. They had so much money, they could have bought the entire world. They had tons of gold. I'm not joking you. They had to pay gold because they got beaten by the Romans. So Seleucid Empire got beaten in Greek and then in Galatia later. And they had to pay for the war effort. They had to pay tons, like 2 or 3 tons of gold. Imagine that. That's a lot of money, right? Back then it was even more, trust me. So they did not took the stand when they should have. They said they slept on the year. Remember, like I said, they laid back. They say, school, we're fine. But it wasn't. The Roman Empire got them badly, right? And then they just... So this is what we need to do. take a stand. Thank you for coming in today. I think got half an hour of talk. I'm sorry I don't have anything else to say, but thank you for listening and thank you for coming in here. If you have any questions, be happy to answer, even online, even here. No questions. Cool. Thank you guys. Have a good nice weekend. Nice. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I think it's nothing to, yeah. Yeah. Back then, no answer at all. Not even thank you, but we're not looking for people, or you understand? I did apply even, let me tell you something, because sometimes it's not your path. Sometimes what you think is good for you is not your path. So what I did, I even applied for that role of a runner. A runner, it doesn't even need to have a bachelor degree or anything. It can be just any dude on the street, or you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be specialized. They would have hired somebody specialized because, you know, I don't know, for some reason, somebody with college, somebody with university. Oh, sorry, the question. So the question was, did I ever receive an answer from the places where I applied immediately after I graduated? Back then I was in London, as I said, I was in London, and the situation was a little bit more dire maybe than today. But still, it wasn't my path. Let me be honest to you, because now I understand it and I see it in perspective. It wasn't my road to go on. I have no excuse like say, oh, you know, maybe my art was shitty, you know, maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't supposed to me to go there. So I had a different, yeah, but that doesn't mean anything, you know, to you, that doesn't mean anything. The only thing you need to keep in mind in the back of your head is that I need to be patient and I need to iterate. I need to be patient and I need to iterate. If you have these two things in your head, you don't give up. That's the problem. People say, I was so stupid. I took this university. Now I don't find a job. It's like blah, blah, blah. Don't lose hope. I'm telling you, I promise you right now, I promise you, if you don't give up, you will find a job in the industry. I promise you this. And you will come back to me later and say, like a prophetic word, if you want to call it. You say, Ionut, you are right, man. After a little bit of here and there, I managed to get myself into the industry, and now look at me. And I will clap and I will be very happy for you. You know, because I want you to be good. I want you to be successful. But success is secondary. As I said, what it means, your morals are more important to me and to God. Being a good moral person, what it means to be good moral. Like what it means is kind of abstract. You know, it's not killing, it's not stealing, it's not lying. Maybe a little lie. You know what I mean? Today. Maybe that's moral, right? That should be moral, okay. I'm sorry, but there is no gray. There's either white or black. You stand or you don't stand. If you stand a little bit, you're like lukewarm. Lukewarm is worse than cold or hot. Yeah. So either be hot or be cold. Don't be lukewarm. Don't be in between. Because we don't like to see people who pretend to be. You either are or not. You don't pretend. Okay, that answered the question, I hope. Nice. Yeah, definitely. So what I would say, you need to find the time that you can afford to sacrifice for this, because there's always going to be a little bit of that. I'm not saying now cut it all. I'm not saying just don't go out with your friends anymore. Well, I've kind of done that, but you know, you don't have to do that. You need to find that time where you take something, and as I said, you need to reiterate on it. And if it's something shit, you drop it. Drop it like it's hot, right? You just drop it out of your hands. You don't keep it, because there's no point of iterating shit. Do 2 shits, you see, don't make a flower. So that's my advice to you. Find that time and then use it maximum. But also, what I do encourage you to find somebody, or as I said, an artist, or somebody who you like, you know, somebody who works, for example, I don't know, Riot Games, whatever. I don't even know. Somebody who works at Blizzard, or yeah, so you just, somebody who's not arrogant. Let me tell you this. Find a person who's not arrogant about their work, because if they're arrogant about their work, they're not going to answer you. Find a person who is like you. Find a person who is humble in heart, right? Find a person who is compassionate. And then you make the tree blossom. Yeah, two flowers. Already you can see a difference in the tree, right? There's 2 and then there's 4. And you can have impact in the tree now, because all the tree will blossom eventually. But if you just cut the branches off all the time, you know, we cannot have spring then. Did I answer that question? Kinda. Time management. All right. My best time management that I can give you, let me give you some tips. Don't eat a lot. When you eat a lot, you feel sleepy. You eat carbs. Don't eat carbs. Eat carbs at night before you go to bed. That's going to make you sleepy. Go to bed quickly, right? Carbs, milk, that helps you up. Don't drink too many energy drinks. Just try and drink coffee, man. I'm telling you. Just drink a black Americano or something. Drink a coffee a day. Because otherwise, you need to stimulate your heart all the time in order to keep up. You understand? So you become addicted to that substance in a way. So what I do, I make a coffee. I have it, I don't know, somewhere there. And I sip from it. I don't drink it all. And that's keep my mind alert. I don't have many sweets. I just quit it recently, sweets. That keeps my mind alert as well. And sometimes I fast. That fasting means I don't eat a lot. Yeah, I try to eat less. And that keeps my mind very alert. When you are in hunger mode, your mind becomes very sharp. You'll notice that. Your mind becomes very, very sharp. Maybe in the beginning not, but slowly you would see that is going into that direction. I'm telling you from my personal point of view and my experience. Right? And tips and tricks like these. Get rid of all the things that distract you, because there's a lot, I bet. Things like YouTube or social media, get rid of them, uninstall them from your phone for a while if you have to, you know, just keep minimum contact with whoever, and that's it. So this is kind of how to maximize the time that you have, because right now your time is very, very important, especially now in the 3rd year. It's very important. I'm not joking. I was working 12 hours when I was back in London, right? So I was working like a horse. But it pays off, right? Eventually it pays off, I'm telling you. So that I quit games. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard. It's an addiction for some people. Some of you do have this problem. It's an addiction. Try to cut those games or play some games. Right now I started playing Mario Kart with my daughter, and sometimes Super Smash Bros. With Daniel, who beats me all the time. Daniel, my colleague, who's the technician. And Ove as well beats me. But that's not the point. I just play for, you know, have some fun from time to time with my colleagues and my friends and my family. I don't spend a lot of time. I only investigate time if there is a game who I want to dissect. There is a game who is relevant to my work, my portfolio, my etc. Yeah, everything that you do. Only then I investigate. Otherwise, no. So yeah, that is, I guess, time management. Don't sleep more than 8 hours. Why do you only need, an adult only needs 8 hours. Don't sleep more than 8 hours. With a 2 alarms clock if you have to. Don't have a hammer nearby, or you know, something that can smash them. But yeah, sleep 8 hours. Minimize the content of coffee that you drink, because you're gonna have a crash. Yeah, because you drink too much, then you're gonna have a crash and you're gonna feel worn off. It's better to keep your mind lucid all the time. No alcohol also. I drink alcohol occasionally, but I don't drink during the day, or you know, when I work, when I do my work. Don't drink alcohol, because that's gonna dull your senses. Also, you think that weed makes you smarter? Think again. I try to do maths with weed, I try to do programming with weed. It's not working. It's not coming out. And I only talk shit. Well, I used to, you know what I mean, right? Yeah, that's another advice that I can give you. It's not sharp. I'm telling you, your mind is not sharp. You might see that you're the center of the universe, or you're the smartest person in the room, but that's not true. Maybe it's true, you know, but I'm not saying that you're not smart. You know what I mean? Okay, so yeah, I mean, try sticking up with these things, and instead of looking at things unuseful, like, I don't know, different films, TV shows. Look at something that's fruitful to you. Look at people's workflows. Look at GDCs, 2010 GDC. I don't know. Yeah, look at how they made Prince of Persia, for example, in the early development. Right? Look at something that will actually, you feed that. Yeah, you feed that. Remember, we're talking about feeding the beast. What you feed is what you get. Yeah, what you feed is what you are. So if you're complacent, then nobody is going to be responsible for that. Nobody, just you. So you have to, yeah. 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 Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, as member of the audience said now, sorry, I didn't get it. Sorry, what's your name? Lawrence. Lawrence? Lars. Okay, sorry about that. So it's Lars talked about consistency and keeping consistent all the time, and finding amount of time that you are willing to spend each day for, you know, getting progress, right? Because if you add up 1 hour a day, and at the end of the year you have 300, right? 360. How many? 5, 4? You get a lot of hours. If you only do 1 hour, imagine what you can do if you had 2 hours invested. That's double, man. That's a lot of hours that you actually learn. And also something else. A lot of people, they only rely on video tutorials. A lot of people rely on video tutorials. But what I discovered, that written information, written data embeds better in my mind. I think it's been tested that it's true for all of us, that, you know, once you read it, it's much, you can assimilate it or incorporate it much easier in your head, right? So reading technical information, on real technical documentation, if you want, or any other things, even books, get your hands on some books. People always recommend, we as your members of the staff, we always have some books, and say, hey, can I have some books to read? I want to know some stuff. I want to learn some stuff. Yeah, and I do it all the time. I recently got something on lighting, and I use that on a workshop with you. And then I made a project, which I just just published you know, on ArtStation. And I use that. I use kind of like, I don't want to bore you with these things, but yeah, just read these things. Try to read books that are relevant to you, getting better, you know. Anything that's, if you're an artist, anything that's related to your field. If it is silhouette, if it is light, if it is whatever, just look into these things. And the more you acquire of this knowledge, the bigger your library is, and the more you will be able to express yourself clearly to people around you and to colleagues and artistic, and you know, you're going to impress people in the interview because your vocabulary will be so vast and so rich because of all these terms that you're going to learn and use. Okay, any other question? I think that's we got okay, I think we can call it a day. Everybody's eager to go in the pubs now and smash those neurons and synapses that we just created in here now. Yeah. Okay, I think we can cut the live stream if you want.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys for coming, everybody. I really appreciate even watching. I know that I'm not an important person from the industry or some tough guy, but I'm willing to share everything that I got with you so you get better at it and have good results, because I care about you and I love you. Yeah, I know that maybe sounds corny to you, but I really care about you. I really care, and that's why I'm here. Yeah. You will always feel that you're not good enough. That's something. I always feel like my work is not good enough. I always feel like I need to do extra. But when is good enough? That's the question that we need to answer. When is it good enough? When we can... So the best way to have it is have feedback from a professional or from a staff member or from somebody who's dedicated artist, okay? Or, I don't know, programmer or whatever. I mean, for programming, I guess it's a little bit different because you need to kind of test, get that code to extremes and see what bugs and so on. But from an artist side, I would say you need to approach that artist that you feel that it's kind of like we're talking about energy drinks. It's free. It's free of. It doesn't have any. Okay, you just put coffee in the Monster.
Yes.
What am I saying? Yeah, for the artist. So find that artist who is relevant to your work, who you feel like you're kind of on the same page. Yeah, you feel like you're on the same page of things. You have the similar style. You have a similar, and be nice, be kind, and send them an email or a message. Say, I was wondering if you would have some time to look at some of my work and maybe get some feedback. And if it's a good person, if it's a kind person, they would answer you and say, yes, please send it to me. And so you have to be the same. When you go there, when you reach to that position, when a student comes to you and say, hey, can you please look at my work? Remember, don't be a douchebag. Answer, yes, I can help you. I was like you. And I can give you good feedback because I want you to succeed as I succeeded. Yeah, so be the light in the world that you want. So do to others as others would do to you, right? Somebody famous once said that. Do unto others as you would like others to do to you. Okay. I think we can call it now, right? God, thank you guys for coming. Yeah. Woohoo!